Christian schools have dodged a bullet this week, with the Prime Minister backing away from legislation which would have destroyed the sector, and along with it, parents' choice in educating their children. How long will this reprieve last? I'll talk with Mark Spencer from Christian Schools Australia. One person who did not escape the PM's wrath, though, was Liberal Senator Gerard Rennick.
Mr Albanese, on the weekend, you referred to myself as a cooker, and you referred to other people that have similar views to myself as cookers.
The Senator will join me shortly to unpack this terrible slur on hardworking mums and dads who simply want the choice to care for their children at home. Also in trouble is my friend Dave Pellow, who is being dragged before the Queensland Human Rights Commission on so-called vilification charges. These kangaroo courts are out of control. Dave will also join me later in the show. All that and more, don't touch that dial. Well, fake news is such a growth industry in this post-truth world. Was there anything more fake than the idea that Ray Gunn's performance at the Olympics had merit? I'm not sure what is worse, her performance or the academic post she holds at Macquarie University. Now, speaking of weird things in the news, Kamala Harris chose as her vice presidential running mate the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. This is the man who put tampon dispensing machines in schoolboys' toilets. We used to say, God bless America. God help America is more apt today. Well, this week I was driving along the M7 motorway in Sydney when I saw this large digital advertisement. Now, the only thing true about this ad is that net zero is tough. It is the government policy embraced so enthusiastically by corporates which benefit from the taxpayer subsidies that is responsible for a land of energy abundance like Australia now having some of the highest electricity prices in the world. It is responsible for causing the cost of everything to go up because everything requires energy to be produced. We were told that renewable energy would be cheaper. That's a lie. The only way to attain net zero is to go nuclear because solar panels and windmills cannot power modern economies. With fossil fuel use increasing globally, not falling, and the world failing to go into boiling mode, Australia's horrendously expensive net zero policies are simply an exercise in self-harm. Propaganda like this from Alinta only helps to prolong the pain. We need to snap out of it. Now, I listened to much of the Elon Musk-Donald Trump conversation on X this week. It was fine, it was not radical or full of disinformation. In fact, it contained a lot of common sense. An Iron Dome missile defence system for America is a good idea. I wish Australia had one. Closing the border is a good idea. Australian governments have done that. Why can't they do it in America? Controlling government spending is also a good idea. That was a big topic between Elon and Donald Trump. Stopping the march of the woke elites is also a good idea before it's too late. Now, the European Commission, though, they set their hair on fire about the very possibility of Musk and Trump having a discussion on a global platform like X. The Commission wrote to Elon Musk warning him that by simply hosting Trump on his platform could expose European Union citizens to misinformation and be in breach of EU laws. Now, just think about that. Whether you like Trump or not, the idea that the EU would seek to censor a conversation and even issue a threat about even hosting the conversation between two public figures on public policy, which affects everyone on the planet, well, this is the height of arrogance. Imagine if they actually tried to make good their threat, if they had the power to enforce it. Sure, the Trump-Musk conversation was long and a bit rambling, but it was also informative. It sure beats the filter of the mainstream media, which has lost its credibility because of its bias over decades. I used to love Time magazine, but I've not read it for years, and this sort of bias and this sort of nonsense is the reason why. May we have more conversations like the one between Trump and Elon. The mainstream media simply can't be trusted. Well, this week, another network ran a documentary on the rise of the Muslim vote. Several Muslim figures, several political figures who are involved in trying to garner the Muslim vote were interviewed, along with the Muslim Senator Fatima Payman from Western Australia and the Greens leader Adam Bandt. Now, these figures are all radically anti-Israel and want sanctions on the Middle East's only democracy because of its war of self-defence against Hamas. None of the pro-Palestinian figures in this documentary were asked about the atrocities Hamas committed on October 7. It was as if the rapes, murders and kidnappings never happened. Now, no wonder we have a problem in Western Sydney. Australia's almost 1 million Muslims think Hamas are the good guys and Israel are the bad guys. This is, of course, a big lie, and it's a massive problem for Australia's social cohesion. Well, we highlight the fake news because we have a better vision for the future. It's possible to restore a media which tells the truth. That's what we're doing right here on ADH TV. It's possible to have politicians who promote the natural family and its place as the building block of a truly flourishing society. That's why we're working in a party like Family First to try and change politics. It's possible to have environmentally sustainable but also abundant and cheap energy so we all can prosper. Calling out the lies of the fake news is the start of the journey to a better future.